Alright guys, today we're going to do adjacent angles and vertically opposite angles. Alright, so first let's start with the definition of what is adjacent angles. Alright, what is adjacent angles? Well, the definition tells you that an adjacent angles are the side-by-side and share a vertex and an arm. Okay, so an adjacent angle is just like two or more angles that next to each other. All right, so for example, we've got the first angle here, and then there's another angle that's next to it. And then as you can see, this angle here, they share the same arm, and then they've got a common vertex, which is this vertex here. And we call that adjacent angle. So if we label this as like, A, B, C, and D, then we've got two angles, and that angle is, we call that angle ABC, and we've got another angle here, we call that angle CBD. Now these two angles are adjacent angles, okay? So angle ABC and angle CBD are adjacent angles, which means they are next to each other. Right, now when we're talking about adjacent angles, then we can have two special types, okay? So if two adjacent angles in a right angle, then we call that a complementary. All right, so we can talk about two different kinds of adjacent angles, right? Two special ones. So if we have a right angle here, and then we've got two angles there, okay? So these two angles. Now as you can see here, that is a right angle. Now we do have two angles that's next to each other, and these two angles join together to form an adjacent angle. All right. So right now, two adjacent angles in a right angle. So we call these two angles are complementary angles. All right. So angle AOB plus angle BOC is equal to 90 degrees, and then we use the word complementary to talk about two adjacent angles make a 90 degree. Okay, complementary. All right, then the next one is supplementary. What happens if we have multiple angles that are next to each other, and then when they add all together equals to 180 degrees? What is the name of that? All right, so we've got a straight angle, which is 180 degrees, and we have this straight angle break down into two angles there. All right, so that is the first one, that's the second one. So this is A, O, B, and C, for example. Then this time we have angle AOB plus angle BOC equals to 180 degrees, because we have two adjacent angles this time on a straight line, and we call that supplementary angles. And then supplementary means 180 degrees. All right, which means that when they add together is equal to 180 degrees, which is a straight angle. All right, now the next one I would like to talk about it. So this is just adjacent angles, right? The next one we'd like to talk about it is the vertically opposite angles, and what is the property about vertically opposite angles. All right, so vertically opposite angles. All right, so what is vertically opposite angles? Now, vertically opposite angles are angles that are formed when two lines intersect. All right, two lines. That's my first line, and then a second line when these two lines intersect. Then we can get two pairs of vertically opposite angles, right? So that's the first one. So these two angles are actually equals to each other. All right, and then we'll have another one, which is this one. What is that? All right, both those angles are called vertically opposite angles. So let's just say if we call this is angle A, that's angle A. They're equal to each other. The size must be equal. That's angle B, here's angle B. All right, the size must be equal to each other as well. All right, we call that vertically opposite angles. All right, now if you want to know what's the reason why vertically opposite angles are equal to each other, I can prove to you, all right? Like what's the reason behind. So for example, if we just pay attention to this angle here, now that is a straight angle, which means that's 180 degrees. So that tells you that, angle A plus angle B should equals to 180 degrees, right? That's equal to 180 degrees, because angle A plus angle B is 180. Once you finish that, all right, then we can look at the next angle, all right? If we pay attention to this big angle here, that's also 180 degrees. So that tells you that angle B plus angle A, all right, is still equal to 180. That's still equal to 180. So they plus together is equal to 180 again. Now, you've got two equations, right? The things on the right-hand side is they're both 180, and the things on the left-hand side must be equal to each other. So therefore, it tells you that angle A must equal to angle A, and then angle B must equal to angle B there. So that tells you the vertically opposite angle must be equal to each other. All right? Yeah, so that's all I want to talk about for this lesson here. It's pretty easy. They're just the concept that you do need to understand about what is adjacent angles, which means two angles are next to each other, sharing the same arm and the same vertex. And then a complementary angles is when two angles add up to 90 degrees, and supplementary means when two angles add up to 180 degrees. Now, vertically opposite angle means the opposite angle when created by the straight lines must be equal to each other. All right, I will talk about how to use those concepts to solve some geometry problems in the future lessons. All right, thank you everyone.